How's it going, everyone? Today you join us on the Overland Trail Tour, where we're taking a bunch of Overland vehicles from St. George, Utah to Flagstaff, Arizona, where we're going to check out the Overland Expo in Flagstaff. And behind me you see one of the vehicles that we're using. This is Overland Expo's own ultimate 4Runner build, and so we're going to have Nick Janes walk us through it. So Nick, this 4Runner is actually built up by the event and for the event using parts from a bunch of your vendors, right?
Yeah, all these parts come from exhibitors at all of our shows, which is really cool. So to start off, Overland Expo is all about educating and inspiring and, outfitting folks to go out and have their own adventures. We do the shows, 3 of them every year, 25,000 people at each show, over 400 exhibitors. We thought it'd be really cool, though, to have another example, another reason for people to get out and be inspired and get, on their own trips. So that's where this 4Runner came from, right? So we started with our, partners at Toyota, were nice enough to give us this 4Runner, and then we outfit it with all of our ultimate stuff. Before we jump into those parts, though, let me say, no, we're not keeping this for profit. We are going to auction it at Bring a Trailer later this year, and all of those proceeds are going to go to the Overland Expo Foundation. And we fund the trips of Overlanders who do good deeds and do good work. And so that's what this is going to go fund.
Nice. So at the end of this video, if you're digging this 4Runner enough, you can actually keep an eye out for it, and you might even be able to buy it. Now, to start with, like you mentioned, Toyota gave you guys a 4Runner, and it's a TRD off-road, right? That's
right, TRD off-road, and I specified this vehicle both in the color and then also the spec. Wanted the KDSS suspension. So, it's got the sway bars that disconnect automatically.
Seems like the TRD off-road is the best way to start off. If you're going to be going through doing the suspension, modifying it the way that this one is, you really don't need to start with a Pro.
Exactly. Because that's got the rear locker, and like I said, KDSS, and you can't get KDSS on the Pro, and I really love that because that's articulation. But moreover, your point exactly, we're putting all new suspension on this, and if you're going to uprate for the suspension, and we're going to put skid plates on it, you're going to take all those factory ones off. It just didn't make sense to start with the Pro.
Right.
Get a little bit lower and add, cooler stuff to it.
So let's start with some of this running gear.
Yeah.
For suspension, you're running Total Chaos, right?
Yeah, Total Chaos. Yeah, those are, this thing is built for high speed in the desert. We don't do that, of course, but it's got the Radflow shocks. One of the folks who was just driving it told me, man, this thing is begging to be driven at like 90 miles an hour through the desert. The suspension would just absolutely love it. It soaks up all of the ruts. It's really cool. And out in front of it, we've got Mayhem wheels. They're the 8303s. Those are wrapped in Firestone Destination MT2 tires.
And even though these are MTs, I see it's got a little bit of siping in it, so this would also be functional in the snow.
Yeah, really good in snow and deep water too, shockingly.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then going a little bit from front to back, I see you've got this big ARB bumper, of course bars that go all the way around the headlights and the grille. And you've also got a winch, obviously, and some KC lights. So tell me a little bit about the specifics of some of this equipment.
Yep, 10,000 pound super winch. This is real strong. We love that with synthetic rope. Saves a lot of weight up front. And then we have the KC Adventure lights. We have those, as you'll see, all over the dang truck.
Yeah.
And it's the ARB bull bar bumper, which has got a really cool look and adds a lot of protection, but also was able to relocate, importantly, all the sensors you need for adaptive cruise control and all the Toyota Sense safety systems too.
Nice, and I see you've also got some fog lights as well as some additional LED lights on the side. Do these fog lights tie into the original fog light switch?
Yep, those are the original ones actually.
Okay, so those just mount into the bumper.
Yep.
And then these are just for a little bit of extra lighting off to the side.
Yep.
Oh, those are turn signals.
Yeah, yep.
Really, and they also...
Or running lights, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a really good-looking bumper setup. I like that it's a bit boxier. It gives the front end of the truck a really tough stance. And then, of course, you've got a good amount of approach angle. And even if you max this out on approach angle, it's not like it's going to damage it. And this is seems like a pretty stiff construction.
We also have the MagnaFlow Overlander exhaust, which by nature is tucked up way up under there for good clearance.
Okay, so that's specifically an off-road exhaust.
Exactly. It's new for overlanding specifically.
Right now I'm driving the kitted out 4Runner from Overland Expo. This truck is affectionately named Earl for whatever reason, and this suspension from Total Chaos and the Radflow shocks are working miracles on some of the more high-speed running that we're doing. It just soaks up the bumps. And that is probably also partly comes down to how much this truck weighs. I think it takes a good amount of bumpage to actually send this thing flying. This rig is a good bit heavier than it was, and getting on the throttle, it can still spin those back tires in two-wheel. So it's got no problem with power enough at least to go off-road on these types of trails. And it's just a blast, man. There's no amount of speed that feels like too much for this. In fact, I've heard a number of people step out of this 4Runner and say, the faster you go, the better it feels, and I'm inclined to agree. So let's walk around the side that's actually got some light on it and check out some more of these KC lights. And I see you've also got this big snorkel.
Yeah, another ARB Safari snorkel there. Really tough. Got more KC. Those are ditch lights, scene lights. And we're hiding more lights underneath too. We've got some rock lights underneath there too, so we can turn those on if you're wheeling at night through a rock garden, or if you just want to have some ambient light at camp.
Right, and then you've also got this Weston
step and
part step, part rock rail.
Yeah, exactly.
And then up top, I see the Alucab rooftop tent, and then you've also got an awning. And then tell me about this roof rack system.
Yeah, so that's a Prinzu rack. They're owned by CBI. It's a really low-profile rack. On top of that, as you mentioned, we got the Alucab rooftop tent, which is their newest model. And way up on top of that, we have a Sunflare Explorer, big flexible solar panel system that puts out 170 volts, and that powers all the goodies in the back. We'll get there in a second though. And then of course we have the 23.0 Bushman awning.
Nice. Well, let's go ahead and check out some of what's going on around the back. Now, first things first, of course, you've got a big steel bumper in the back with some KC lights in the corner, and of course it's got dual swing outs here. Yeah,
this is another unit from CBI. Really love this one. Again, added an opportunity for more fuel, get our full-size spare up here, and Max Trax more accessible. Those are the Max Trax wheels spare tire mount system. That won't let it hit you.
Nice, and then both of these also latch in place when they're out, right?
Pins,
so you don't get
drop into the pins there.
Slapped on the back when you've got it open. And then behind the tailgate, we've got a ton of different drawers and everything.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on here. This is probably the most interesting bit. We have our Dometic fridge that's on a easy slide from Clearview. And this is really cool because obviously you can't access the fridge from where it sits naturally. Bring it out and then bring this down. This is from British Atlantic. They're the importers of the Clearview slide from Australia.
That's really cool. I like that it makes it much more accessible. It's at a height where, you're not going to have to reach way up to get into the top of the cooler. And then tell me a little bit about this wrap that's around the cooler.
This is a little insulator. Just helps keep the cool in, so you're not burning a lot of energy needlessly. But that said, it is solar powered. So if we look over here behind these boxes from Equipped, these LU boxes, we've got a solar system that powers everything here. It's from Red Arc. We got the Red Vision and the Manager 30 together take all that solar energy that we're creating right now and manage it and send it into the fridge here. And we got all a little goodies in here. So we have our cooking. We have 2 stoves. Those are from Nomadic Outfitters. They're the Covea stoves. A bunch of kitchen gear as well. And what's really cool about these CBIs, you also can drop these down. They're little magnetic doors here.
Oh, so you've got a little platform to cook on.
Yep, little stoves do that.
Like that.
Yep, do your prepping right here if you want next to your fridge. And then,
cool setup.
Yeah. Over here, again, more, we had some hammers and a recovery kit and things of that nature.
Got a fun little mud crossing here, and in the spirit of fun, I'm going to try it out in 2-wheel drive, because why not?
Crazy. Tread lightly. There you go, nice.
Treading lightly, as they say. And even in 2-wheel drive, even though it's a little rutted out, it's just not struggling for traction at all. This 4Runner is, it's too capable for this trail that we're on, but to its credit, it's still pretty fun to drive. All in, with the cost of the 4Runner itself, and then all of the modifications done to it, what are we looking at total price?
Yeah, and this isn't actually, we're not even seeing all the stuff that we have for this ultimate build. We also have a Quiet Cat e-bike that sits on the back here, because this vehicle was built to get out to the remote spots and camp up for a while. And then on the e-bike, which you can charge off the solar, go and explore single track beyond that. And then we have an ALP propane generator to charge other goodies, other big toys, whatever you need. All of those things all said, this vehicle, I think, was stickered out at $47,000.
Okay.
And I think we have probably $50,000 or more in gear on it.
Nice. So whoever ends up picking this up is going to end up with a really cool rig. Now that Quiet Cat, the bike and the generator, is that all hitch mounted when that is set up?
Exactly, yeah. We have this really big, beautiful Thule bike rack that actually can drop down and roll away, and it's so easy to use because the Quiet Cat's not light. It's about 80 pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Now this is a really, really cool setup. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you showing this off to us. And if you're going to be at the Overland Expo, you'll probably see this there.
Yep, it's got its own special booth next to the builders who are mule expedition outfitters out of Seattle.
Nice. So be sure to give it a look, and a big thank to Nick James
Yep.
for walking us around it.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.